Hey, welcome to the Poetry Balls podcast with Tola. How are you? You okay? You hanging in there? Good, good. I really don't care, but yeah. So the podcast today is going to be based on the theme of redemption, and probably by the end of this, you will know why I chose that topic. Right. So it's pretty safe to assume, although people have asked me, they go, "Oh, Tola, you're tall, you're handsome, you're vastly more knowledgeable about, cake than I am, than we are. Like, do you know Bill Gates? Or does Bill Gates know you?" And I go, "No." Which is surprising even to me. I mean, I thought I would be on his radar or vice versa. But that's not how it works. Apparently, I don't know him, and considering what's been popping up in the news, um, that might be a positive thing. But like I said, I don't know Bill Gates. I've never. I mean, surprise. I've never been at his house. We've never baked a cake together. I don't know Bill Gates. So I read the news clippings just like everyone else, and I go, first of all, I don't like the concept of divorce. It's unless it's an extreme situation where there's violence or just blatant infidelity. There's an exception to every rule, but divorce is by and large no pleasant thing, especially when a couple has been together for 27 years. But look, I don't care. It's not my business. It's their life, right? But I read. So I read the New York Times article on Bill Gates' questionable behavior. So the title was "Long Before Divorce, Bill Gates Had a Reputation for Questionable Behavior." Right. Here's my problem with this article, and I'll just read a bit of it, and I won't say too much about it, but I think you understand why I feel the way I do. So this part of the article says, Miss French Gates. Okay, let me say that again because I don't even notice, but I kind of swallow my words a bit, so I'll try to read it clearly. Miss French Gates has expressed discomfort with her husband spending time with a sex offender. We're talking about Jeffrey Epstein there. But Mr. Gates continued to do so, according to people who were at or briefed on the gatherings with the two men. Now, I'm not a political scientist. I'm not. Look, people think I'm vastly intelligent about cake. I'll probably agree with that characterization. But look, if you're gonna, okay, this pisses me off actually because the New York Times, they send me countless emails asking me to subscribe to their paper because they do the highest quality, the highest level of journalism. They have the best writers, they're Pulitzer Prize winners, and by and large, fair enough. So I have subscribed to the New York Times, but when I read an article which is just so poorly reported, so poorly researched, so poorly put together. I mean, look, if you don't have the facts, if you don't even have a sliver of the facts, why do you need to report on the story? What do you mean someone who was at or was briefed of the gap? What the hell does that mean? Anyway, I didn't want to say too much about that because, as you can tell, that it's like You asked me to subscribe, and now I've subscribed, and you're churning shit. Do better, right? Anyway, um, I don't know Bill Gates, um, but I want to talk about the concept of money, right? And as we all know, we've all heard the term "money is the root to all evil." Now, based on the reporting that I've heard, the articles I've read, I don't know what's happened. I don't think we're like to know what's happened, which is fine. I mean, it's not my business. It's no one's business. Um, if he associated with Jeffrey Epstein, he. I mean, this was known before the divorce. Why is it now an issue? Why wasn't it an issue then? I don't know. The world is a funny place. But anyway, I want to talk about money, right? So I remember when. I remember I was working a corporate job back in 2016, and I was earning a decent wage, right? I was earning a decent monthly wage, and I remember I was sat at my desk one day. It was probably like payday or something, one of those hallmarks of a one of the highlights of the month, right? Working a corporate job. Like, oh wow, there's money in my account. Fantastic. Right. So I'm working at my desk and I'm bored. I'm bored out of my mind because I didn't enjoy that particular task for that day. Let's go with that narrative, right? So anyway, I had some money in my account and I decided to buy an Xbox One. An Xbox One was at the time was the latest version of the Xbox series. It's a computer game. It's a video game. It's a video game console. And I spent, I think it was over £200. It was literally over £200. I took my phone out, I went on Amazon, and I bought a console for over £200. And the transaction lasted about 2 minutes. I mean, it's Amazon, right? And just like that, let's say £200 left my account. Now, I'm not Bill Gates. I'm not, I'm not the wealthiest man in the world. But I had enough money, or at least I had enough comfort at the time, to spend £200 on a video game console because I was bored. That was literally my incentive. I was bored. Now, I remember the first time I saw or I knew of Bill Gates. I think I was maybe 6 years old. I was in Nigeria. I was in a car with my dad. And my dad had the Times magazine. Times magazine. He had one of those magazines, and on the cover of this magazine was Bill Gates' face, and said, "The richest man in the world," and I think it must have alluded to the $100 billion that this guy earned or had as his wealth. I mean, I was 6. I could not. I mean, how do you comprehend anything like that at that age? But obviously, it had an impression on me because it stuck, right? I knew who Bill Gates was from that point on. I knew he was the wealthiest man in the world, and I knew he had $100 billion just from the cover of a Times magazine. So, I spend £200 on a video game because I'm bored and I'm not a wealthy man. But Bill Gates is. He is the wealthiest man in the world, or at least once was. And I think he was probably the richest man in the world for at least 20 years. Undisputed champ. This guy had a lot of money, and see what does. Um, what do you think he does with his money? Look, I don't know who Bill Gates is. I don't know his morality. I assume he's a decent enough human being because he's done a lot of philanthropic work. He's done. Look, prior to the divorce, Bill Gates was seen as the patron saint of billionaires, right? That was a fact, right? I'm sure you had some leftists who had some woke ideas about the way he spent his money. That's just bullshit, and that's neither here nor there. Um, we can all attest to the fact that Bill Gates has spent his money well. He's not a frivolous guy. At least that's what we know. But if Bill Gates had a sweatshop where little children made cupcakes for him, would you be surprised? No, think about it. Like, compare the analogies compare the two scenarios. I spent £200 on a whim because I was bored. What do you think any of us would do with $100 billion in our account? It's an insane amount of money, and unless you are divinely endowed with wisdom, where you don't overspend, you're not frivolous, you don't hang out with sex offenders, then I suppose you'd be okay. But look, I want to make a couple of points. If I had $100 billion and I was the most famous man in the world for my wealth, maybe I built a cake factory that made the best cakes in the world, all the world over, and I'm seen as a nice guy, kind of quiet, that sort of thing, but the New York Times comes out with breaking news, that I've done something uh not good. Would you be surprised, considering the amount of money I have? I'm not saying that it's because of money, but I do feel that, there's a reason why they say money is the root of all evil. And not to pass judgment on anyone, but again, I know myself. I know that I'm gonna need a lot of soul searching. I'm gonna need to be calm. I'm gonna need to be grounded. I'm gonna need to work hard on myself not to do things that I shouldn't do, because there's something about money and power that it brings, and the access and the influence that you gain, that can really, really distort your view of the world. I just believe that. I mean, you don't need to have $100 billion to know that that money can make you do stupid things. Just, oh wow, this money in my account, I'm gonna spend all of it. We've all been there. And what am I talking about? We've all been there, right? And I mean, the other thing is, so Bill Gates, let's argue, he's the richest man in the world. Forget, Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. I mean, they're richer now, um, and they seem like well put together men. I mean, come on, this is a consistent theme. Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, they've done wonderful things, but are they the most even keel individuals? I'll let you decide that for yourselves, right? I mean, they're on the news, right? So dig them up if you don't know about them. But the reality is, Bill Gates, with all his money, is now in a situation where his marriage is about to crumble. and his reputation is being shredded. All in the space of a week. And you go, he's a rich man, he'll be okay. Well, no, because that money can do absolutely nothing. Well, he couldn't save his marriage, first of all. He's obviously not happy, as a result. You could argue that. Maybe he's elated that his wife is leaving him. I don't know, but let's assume he's not. Money as the root of all evil can be attributed to a lot of the misery that we impose on ourselves. And the fact of the matter is, there is no redemptive quality about chasing wealth solely. Not to say that that's what Bill Gates did. But here's the point I'm trying to make. You have $100 billion. No, you have a decent amount of money, but your marriage is about to crumble. Your kids probably hate you. Your reputation has been shredded by the New York Times poor reporting. I can't let that go. What do? Where's the redemption? Because let's even assume Bill Gates is guilty of sex, whatever, all that fancy stuff. What's he gonna do? He can't turn to the world because the world has rejected him. He can't turn to his finances. It's paper, right? It's credit, it's currency, it's basically a concept that he can't take along with him, and he certainly can't restore his reputation or his marriage. So what does this guy do? I happen to be a Christian, not a great Christian, I'm not a theological expert. I'm struggling with life just like anyone else, but I do understand the concept of being grounded in something. It's like, dude, just anything. Like, don't tell me you don't believe in something, right? It's like, you're there for the picking, basically. You're there for the taking. So, redemption. Where can you find redemption? I would argue that you find it in the transcendent. You find it in the divine. You find it in the thing that money cannot buy. I don't know what that is for you or for Bill Gates, but he's gonna have to find it, or he's gonna die a miserable man. I can almost see that, right? You need, yeah. Even his philanthropic work, like, because you say, "Oh, I'm saving the world." What could be greater than that? Well, sure, okay. Let's see how far that'll take you. Right now, we don't even know if the foundation is gonna stand. Right? It's just what it is. We don't know what's gonna happen. It's Bill and Melinda Gates. It's not Bill Gates anymore. Right? So I'm sure they'll figure it out. I'm just making the point that as a case study, it's interesting. It is interesting. It's like, where do you find redemption if the world rejects you? Your mom rejects you. Stops returning your calls. Your wife leaves you. Oh my God! It's like, wow. Am I a rich man, or am I broke as hell? Right. So yeah. I Faith is hard because it takes practice and it takes reflection, and it's not obvious. It's but I do believe in grounding. You need to be grounded in something that is beyond this mortal realm. So yeah, I don't know Bill Gates, but I do know that if I had a lot of money, um, I would need to be grounded in something beyond that wealth to stay out of trouble, if that makes any sense. Anyway, Thanks for listening to the podcast. Visit the Portrait Bulls website, which is portraitbulls.com, where I'll be writing a poem about this episode, like I did for the previous one. So, like I said, it's a bit of a rant or a ramble or stream of consciousness or a jet stream of bullshit, but it is whatever is my thoughts, and it is an inspiration for a poem. There's a poem in this topic, and I'm gonna write it like I did before. You can check out the previous episode on YouTube, on Apple, and Spotify. It's all there. And yeah. I wrote a poem on the previous episode that I recorded. It's on the website as well, portraitbulls.com. So check it out. Let me know what you think, or not. Look, either way, I'm gonna keep I'm gonna keep going. So yeah, thanks for all who have listened. And yeah, manage your finances, and more importantly, manage your relationship with the transcendent. That's critical, because the world will reject you at some point, and you're gonna need something beyond Instagram and cupcakes. All right, take care, and see you next time, or talk to you next time. Peace.